All right, now let's look at the dangers and the safety of the buildings surrounding the disaster area and how the explosion happened the way it did. On this, we're now joined by Professor Felix Okonta, head of the Geotechnical and Pavement Engineering Research, as well as coordinator of the Civil Engineering Capstone Design at the University of Johannesburg. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Prof. I mean, when you look at that video and you see how in close proximity people were, buildings were, at that site of the explosion. Just talk to us about how it is, from your analysis, that this explosion could have happened.
Oh, well, you see, if you look at there are things that need to be looked at. The first thing is to look at the rupture, the cross-section of the rupture. You have a CDO, what you could call a CDO epicenter. When you have an earthquake, you say that the epicenter is here or there. What you do have there is you have this rupture, which we could call the CDO epicenter of the blast. But then again, you have a running crater. That is, you have the crack on the pavement that ran laterally. So it gives the impression that it could be many things, and I think that is the concern we have about trying to speculate what could have been the cause, because of the fact that if you have a rock that is deep seated or not very deep seated, that tilted or shakes, it could trigger a vibration that could move laterally, which is what we saw there, that caused that rupture on the road. That is one. The second one is that it could also simply be that it is indeed a blast, which is what many people have been speculating. However, what is very clear is that it is shallow sitting from the fact that it did two things. It was able to cause a clear crater that has a pseudo epicenter. It ran laterally, and then if you look towards the edge, you find out that some of the taxis overturned, meaning that the blast generated a wave that predominantly traveled horizontally, and the elastic vibration caused the taxis to overturn. And because of the closeness and the proximity of those taxis to the building, we can hazard a guess simply that yes, that vibration also touched those buildings.
I mean, what is also of concern, Prof, I know that at the moment we are not sure as yet what has caused this rupture or explosion, as you call it. But there are indications it could also be a gas explosion. But we obviously heard from several companies saying that, they are not to blame, including Igoli Gas, in the sense that it could not possibly be from their end. But what is concerning is that, from the buildings perspective, are those buildings safe as we speak now? Because we know that police are there, they've surrounded the area, they've cordoned off the area, they're asking people to evacuate. Some people have chosen to stay. Should we not be seeing a case of evacuating everyone on site until that epicenter that you speak of has been sought and that the cause of this explosion has been determined? Because possibility of a secondary explosion or rupture is highly possible, is it not?
Well, you see, let me add another factor to this. If you look at the park station, the park station has got transportation tunnel below it. The park station has got a chain of transportation tunnel below it, and we don't know whether one of them ran below Bree, that section of the CTT. So that's another factor. And if you have a tunnel, it means it is accessible to a human being, and it could be a place where anybody can do anything. So that's the second factor. Now let me come down to the issue of the impact. What we've seen is that there was vibration, that those buildings vibrated because the cars turned. Okay, the extent of the impact depends on quite a number of factors. One of them has to do with the kind of foundation on which those buildings were founded on. So it could be that they were just shallow foundation. It could be that they were rafted. It could be that they were piled. It could be that they were piled rafted. And as you go from shallow to raft, to pile raft, then the stability, the ability of this building to absorb vibration increases. Okay, but there's something that worries me. It is the fact that what you see, the extent of crack you see, and it's been reported that there were some cracks. What you see is just the elastic induction of the vibration, meaning that it is something that happened now. Okay, what normally happens when you have vibration is that you have opening up of the ground, and you are likely to get time-dependent consolidation settlement. The way to picture time-dependent consolidation settlement is to think of the mines. Just think of where you have old mines. The buildings around it at times begin to crack. And that is because of the fact that there were changes in the water table. A similar thing here is likely to happen where you have time-dependent settlement of the building. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen today, and it is something that could eventually impact on the crack that we have currently. My very strong opinion is that the cracks we see today is not the end.